hello, handsome or beautiful. How are you doing today? Doing fantastic? That's what I like to hear. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Profe Kyle. I'm from Canada and I'm an English teacher. That's what I do for a living. That's what I've been doing for the past 7 years of my life, and I think I'm pretty good at it. And if you're here, it's because you want to improve your English, and you know that you're not going to improve your English by leaps and bounds, as we say in English, by constantly watching YouTube videos that give you a list of vocabulary. Those really don't do that much. It might help you a little bit, but the best way to improve quickly in a language is with something called comprehensible input, which more or less is, in this case, English that you can understand because there are subtitles, there are translations, or because there are very few words that you don't understand in the text, in the video. And I like to create these videos for you because I do care that you become fluent in English. I'm not a liar like these other people, these horrible, horrible teachers that want to leave you frustrated and crying every day because you're not improving in English. So today I have a simple English video for you to help you improve your English, get more vocabulary. And today I want to tell you the story about how I got my scars, because people, when they meet me, they begin to realize I have a few scars on my body. I got a scar here, I got a scar here, I got a scar here, I got some scars here, I got a scar on my arm, and I got a scar on my leg. I got some scars on my hand. So, oh, my hands. So I got scars on both hands? Maybe just on one hand. No, I think both hands. Scars on both hands. So how did I get these scars? Maybe I should start with the most boring scars first. So maybe the most boring scar I have, maybe on my hands. I believe I have scars on my hands because I spilt boiling water on them when I was a kid. I don't really remember when I did it, but I did it. So yeah, I got a scar there, and it looks like a scar here. I don't remember that much. I'm pretty sure that these scars are from boiling water that I spilt on myself while I was cooking or with my mother in the kitchen. I don't really remember. The next least interesting scar, I have a small scar right here on my arm. Little tiny scar right here. I got this scar when I was, I think, 12 years old. I believe I was in grade 6, so middle school in Canada. And yeah, and one of my friends, he was a really stocky and chubby guy, and he's a little bit violent. I'm not too sure why, but he's always a little bit violent guy. He wasn't a bully, but he didn't really know how to control his strength and to be gentle. And like, I can't remember if it was in class or during recess. So recess is the time between classes when you have time to play outside or inside. And he had I'm not too sure about Latin America or other parts of the world, but he had a triangle for mathematical measurements. So in one of the school supplies that you were required to get in middle school and high school was I can't remember what it's called, but basically a mathematical measurement set. It had protractors, semicircles, things to measure angles, and it had a triangle for trigonometry, I think. I don't remember. And for whatever reason, my friend, he had it in his hand and just, again, didn't know how to control himself. He started like waving it around, and he basically just cut my arm. It wasn't really bad, but he cut it deep enough that I now have a scar in my arm from that. So yeah. All right. Now, some other scars. These scars are a bit more interesting for me, but maybe not as interesting. When I shave, and in certain lights, you can see that I have scars on my cheeks, especially on this side of my face, and maybe actually on my back too, but I can't really see my back that well, so I don't know. And these scars, they look like little tiny potholes like you would see on the street, are from cystic acne. So when I was, I think between 16 and 18 years old, it affected me for probably 2 years, I would say, at the end of high school. I had cystic acne, and cystic acne is horrible. So if you don't know what cystic acne is, it's really severe acne. So you might know the simple pimples they're just like little tiny white dots that you can pop easily, no problems. Well, imagine that, except 3 times as big and even deeper in the skin. And so just basically these white bulges on my cheeks and maybe my forehead is all over my face, mostly my cheeks, and I also had them on my neck and my back. And obviously acne is one of the worst things that can happen to a teenager, because obviously it looks horrible, everyone can see it, it affects your confidence. And the other thing about cystic acne is that you shouldn't, if there's somebody young watching this and they have cystic acne, is you shouldn't pop cystic acne, because it's so deep in the skin, and when you pop it, it leaves the cystic scars on the face. In my case, I was a little bit lucky, because my father, if you see my father has cystic scars all over, on his cheeks, on his neck, on his back, and he's getting older, so it looks worse and worse and worse. So my father's face, it kind of looks like the moon. So in my case, I never got cystic scars that bad, but in certain lights you can see the cystic scars on my cheeks and probably my back as well. So a bad time in my life. I definitely am glad that I no longer have cystic acne. Alright, now some of my other scars. One of the most noticeable scars that people see when they look at my face is the scar here on my forehead. Some people say it looks like I have a Harry Potter scar. But no, I'm not Harry Potter. I'm not a wizard. I don't have magical powers. This scar actually is kind of silly. In a way, it's one of the most boring scars, but it's the most noticeable scar on my body. So this scar happened when I was 4 years old. I don't really remember because I was too young, but in the house where we were living at that time, I was running around like a young boy should be, and I tripped and fell. And I tripped and fell, my forehead tripped and fell on the corner of a coffee table. So coffee table, like the short tables that are in front of the sofas and the couches in a living room. So I tripped and fell, and yeah, I cut open my forehead. I don't remember anything again because I was young, but I got stitches, so I probably went to the hospital afterwards. They gave me stitches, and now I have this scar on my forehead. Not a very interesting story, just running around stupidly like a kid, and I got a scar on my forehead. So that happens. Maybe I'll show you my leg right now. So I have a scar on my leg. See if you guys can see it or not. Let me pull up my pants just a little bit. So I'm not too sure if you can see it, but I have a scar right here on my leg. So it's right there, a scar. So you might not be able to see it very well in the light, but yeah, if there's lots of light, you can see there's like an indent in my leg that goes all the way to the bone. So what is that scar from? If you don't know, my mom is a cowgirl. My mom is a cowgirl. She likes to ride horses. So obviously, parents want their kids to do the same things as them when they grow up. So basically, since I was a little baby, I was riding horses. And I was riding horses basically until I got that scar. And I got that scar when I was 16 years old. So my mom has lots of horses, and she would often just say, "This is now your horse." I never really asked for a horse. My mom just said, "Here's a horse." So if you're a young woman that always wanted a horse when you were a kid, well, you're going to be very jealous, because with me, my mom just gave me horses just because. So I was riding my horse, practicing for a competition, and my mom could be intense sometimes, not super intense, but a little bit intense. And I know my mom loves me more than her horses, but sometimes her love for her horses can get in between our relationship. So I was practicing for the competition, and we were doing something called barrel racing, where a horse turns around a barrel at high speeds. And so I turned around the barrel, and the horse got really close to the barrel, and these barrels have no padding around the top to protect the shins. So the horse got really close and ran my shin into the top of the barrel, and the barrel pretty much dug into my shin bone, and that's what gave me my scar. Obviously, it really hurt, and I was pissed off. I was pissed off at my horse, and I got pissed off at my horse because it just hurt me. It shouldn't have done what it had done. And my mom, instead of understanding the situation, she got mad at me, and I couldn't believe it. And I pulled up my pant leg and looked at my leg, and it was bleeding. It was obvious that the horse had hurt me by doing this. And I showed my mom, and my mom just said, well, she didn't really care about it. So I got off my horse. I was pissed off. Like, normally I don't get pissed off at my mom. I'm a very respectful son. It wasn't very common for me to get mad at my mother and throw a tantrum. But I was pissed off because my mom was taking my horse's side instead of my side. I got off. I went to the house. I was pissed off. And basically, since that day, I haven't ridden horses. Like, I do it every once in a while, but I haven't ridden horses seriously, or practiced riding horses, or ridden horses fast, or trained them. I just gave up completely because I was so pissed off at my mom that she took my horse's side instead of my side. And yeah, that's the story of that scar. And the last scars I'm going to tell you about, I have two scars. One here on my lip, and another one here. Both of them are kind of hard to see, especially when I have my beard. And right now I kind of have a semi-beard, so it might be hard to see. But these two scars also come from riding horses. And these two scars came when I was maybe like 5 or 6 years old. So I was riding a horse out in the field by myself. So again, I was riding horses by myself at a very young age, and I was having fun. We were going really fast. And at that time, we were living in southern Alberta. And in southern Alberta, we have the prairies. And in the prairies of Canada and the United States, there aren't that many trees, which is good if you're riding horses because there's nothing which can stop you from going fast. So we were riding, and this horse was very smart. Like, very smart horse. Maybe I'll tell stories about her in the future. But this horse did not want me to be riding her at that moment. So we were in the field, and there are 3 trees. Like, the only 3 trees in the area are in that field. And one of the trees has a branch, a big branch about this wide. And and when I was riding the horse, it was at the same height as my face. And this horse is very smart. It realizes that it can get rid of me, get me off of her back, if it runs really fast under that branch. Incredibly smart horse, right? So I'm riding her, I have control, and all of a sudden, she takes control, and she runs as fast as she can towards the tree, towards the branch. And I'm trying to stop her. I'm young, remember, but I'm too small. I'm trying to stop her, but she is not stopping. And we go full tilt, full speed under that branch, and it clotheslines me in the mouth, just like in the movies. If you ever watched a Western movie, a cowboy movie, or an action movie, and somebody gets clotheslined in the face and they fall off the truck, the car, the horse, it happened exactly like that. So I get clotheslined by this thick tree branch, and obviously I fall off the horse. And you can imagine, I'm 5 years old, 6 years old. I'm crying because it hurts. Like, I just been hit in the face with a tree branch. And I think I was by myself at the time. Maybe for you, that's a sign of an irresponsible parent, but my mom trusted me to ride horses at that time. So I ran to the house crying, and my mom was like, what happened? I tell the story. The horse took me under the tree branch. And my mom has a photo. If I can find it, I'll show you. Has a photo of me, bloody mouth, because this scar is basically from my teeth puncturing the lip here. And this scar, I don't know what it's from. I don't know if it's from the tree or from the teeth or what, but there's a picture of me with like a thumbs up, a bloody mouth, and smiling like this, because at that point I had stopped crying. I don't think I needed stitches. I think my mom just washed my mouth, my face, probably hurt really bad for about a week, and then I was fine. But that event left me with these 2 scars on my face. And that, my dear students, are the stories of my scars. Many times people ask me how I got the scars, and now you know how I got them. So if you want to practice your English a little bit more, I'm going to leave some questions down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done it, and click on the bell icon to receive notifications when I release future simple English videos like this. And that's it for now. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, my dear student.